So, I was looking for a game to do today. A little bit late because I went to the doctor's this morning. Nothing serious, just the 6 monthly visit for the chronics. And yeah, so I started looking for a game to show you guys, and I went, an incremental game. I can't do another incremental. For those of you who've been around for a while, you know that I love my incremental games, and I do too many of them, idle incrementals. And yeah, so I thought, I can't do another one. But this one looks interesting. It looks a little different. So I thought, let me just hop in and take a look. And I'm glad I did. This is an incremental, unlike the kinds I've seen, but very, very much along my lines of the kind of games I like to see, the kind of games I like to play with units running around. So it's sort of a strategy incremental, if you might imagine such a thing. And yeah, so here I am showing it off to you guys. And we're going to jump in. We're going to take a look. We're going to do the critiques as per standard practice for around here. And we are, of course, going to say, please don't forget to, at the very least, drop a comment. Tell me what you think, what you don't think, what you like, what you don't like, how your day is going. Because I don't like yelling into the void. I like hearing from you guys. And some of you have been amazing at leaving a comment. So thank you very much. I do appreciate that a lot. Or at the very least a like if you think this is pretty good. And if you might be so inclined as to subscribe so you can see me do more incremental games. I mean, not incremental games, other games, some incremental games, and of course other games as well, and future stuff that I do, and of course give some engagement both for me and for you. Train that YouTube algorithm up. I would appreciate it. Now I'm sounding like I'm a radio DJ, which I am not. I am in fact just some dude on the internet showing you games, and I will show you this game. It is called Endless Escalation, and it claims to be in alpha mode, I think, yeah, by GFX47. So let's run the game and jump in. And it is Unity, as you can see, and we will wait for the Unity to load. I've tried this in Firefox, it worked absolutely fine. And now I'm trying it in Chrome. Right, so this is our gameplay map. We are number blue, and we are in the side here. And to just go through the components, we have the little enemy unit, a little square shooting at us and slowly chipping us away. We have the sort of war factory that is obviously also red, that has produced a little square and which is firing at us. And we have the enemy base, which is a big red dot like our big blue dot, except our blue is going down fast. Up in the top left here we have our build menus. Only one item at the moment that we can click on, and what this does is it can boost our defense. So let's boost that. So we are now defending ourselves from enemy shots just that little bit more. Still not quite enough to keep us safe, but at least we are defending against some of them. And we can now boost our income. As you can see down the yellow bar, that is our money. And now we have clicked on that once. We are now slowly regaining more money. And now that we have gained enough money to upgrade it, we can click on it again. And now we are gaining income a little bit more. And then we can click on it again, and we can just keep clicking on it until we have bought all that we can, because there's not much else we can do except we can now buy this. So we can buy another couple of levels of this. Oh, and now that we've leveled it up, we have some more things. We have our passive income that we've already bought, but we also have income storage, because you see we max out at 100. We don't want to, we want to boost it more. So now we are at 200. And over here, this is why we needed the 200, because we wish to purchase our first factory that requires 200 units. And we're just going to get there to our factory. And cha-ching, now we have purchased our factory. Now we have our own little squares that we can buy. Now these are all of the build upgrades that we can buy on our sort of root base here, which is where we're going. And now we're about to beat the enemy anyway, so we shall see in the next level. So we have won the first level, our first tutorial level. So these are all upgrades for our basic base. But if we click on our little factory here, we get told there are different kinds of units. And we're being attacked by triangles, and as you can see, pentagons beat triangles. So squares beat pentagons, pentagons beat triangles, triangles beat squares. So we want to make pentagons. And let us boost our defenses a little bit. I should have bought income. That was very silly of me. Nevertheless, we might actually be defeated here. But that's not really a problem because we do just kind of respawn at the beginning of the level. So yeah, so we were defeated, but I think we keep the upgrades and we keep our settings. So now we are fighting them one-on-one, and we can buy some things over here and just upgrade it. Now, what I have noticed, however, to boost what I really like here is the ability to right click, and now it will buy it as quickly as it can. And we can right click there and we can right click there, and it will, in that order, purchase upgrades. But we won the level anyway because we managed to produce things. Now it's a little bit tougher. Alright, so let's click on here. We are now fighting triangles, so we still are producing the right units, but we now have health over there. So let us unclick these because we want the health to go first. And then we have loot from enemy units. So every time we kill an enemy unit, we get some loot from them. And now we are auto upgrading all of those, and auto upgrading the only thing that we have in here. So as they go up, oh, we're not doing terribly well. But that's fine. It doesn't matter if we die again. We will come back to it, and we will keep trying. Oh, and we have new units here. So we have passive income from triangles. See, the passive incomes are built into the kind of the things that we are building. I'm not quite sure how that association works. Oh, we have just killed off all the enemies, but let's hope we can get some more units in here. And we can't now this, if you have a look at this here, we have this interesting thing where it is red, and I don't quite understand what the red means. Something that we need to purchase to unlock the reds. I think that might just be the upgrade for each level, as it were. Yeah, I don't quite understand how we get the red, how we unlock the red. It might just be this is the max for this level, and we can't buy any further than that, so we can't upgrade any further than that. That is how I'm choosing to interpret it. But anyway, so that's how it works. And here we are earning lots of squares data. I don't know how we are, but not much for triangles. So if we click on here, oh, there we can start boosting our triangle storage capacity. But we have won that round anyway. So let us continue. And now we have new things here. So let's upgrade those as we can. This will boost our attack damage. This will boost our attack frequency. We're still fighting triangles, so we can still stay as pentagons. And here we get resources back when one of our units dies, so we can give that. And I am just turning all of these on to auto upgrade because honestly I played through it around and that kept me going just fine. We can get passive income for the pentagons as well. We need some more pentagon storage, but that hasn't been unlocked as yet. Yeah. Nevertheless, let us keep it going. We seem to be winning anyway. We have fought our way through to the enemy base, and we're upgrading. I mean, there's a lot of options here, and it is weird the way it divides the income amongst the three kind of income routes. And I don't know how that is associated with the units that we available. Oh, there we go. There we have our pentagon income storage. So we only have 1,000 of the triangles. And for example, this requires 5,000 triangles. So we need to upgrade this a bit. But let's not worry too much about that. Let's just let everything upgrade here automatically as it can. We can even right click that. We've got new things in our base here. Oh, we have our unit count. Yeah, we need that. Oh, and I see our units have changed. They are squares, so we need to be triangles. Yeah, so triangles do maximum damage to squares. Obviously squares do maximum damage to pentagons. That's why he was beating us up a bit. But now we have triangles, and we're just letting everything upgrade as and when it can. And now we will chill out here. So we are level 1.5. If we have a look at the levels, we can see we were one short of the boss level. I really didn't see much difficulty with the first boss level, but I gather people were having difficulty with, like, I don't know, chapter 6 boss level or something like that. I don't know. I didn't get that far before I decided to come and show you these guys this game. Yeah, so we just have the two buildings still. We haven't unlocked the ability to build any more buildings yet, but they will appear there, I think, in the sort of level chapter 2 levels 1 onwards. We might get more buildings to build. The enemy also only has one enemy building. He eventually gets 2 and we get 2, and they have different units, so you have to build different units on each side. But we seem to be dominating here. In fact, our pentagons are still alive there. Yeah, I mean, honestly, tactically speaking, my recommendation is just right-click everything that pops up and just tell it to upgrade as and when it can. That seems to do very well, at least the early levels. Yeah. So now, this enemy building has a range around it at which it can fire these little zaps, which are like intercept zaps. It will zap the projectile that them have shot, but it can only do it so many times. We have that ourselves, which is here. It's the space value. We haven't upgraded it for a while. Yeah, so if the enemy gets a certain range within us, oh, now we have a new building here that we can build. But we don't need to build that just yet. Oh. Let's upgrade that. They are pentagons, so we need to be building squares. So let's get some squares out there. They are damaging us fast. But we are managing. We are very, very slowly fighting back. It is troublesome, but we are slowly upgrading things as and when we can. Let's just put that on and we can... Yeah. For all that there are many of them, we are, as we can see, much bigger, much tougher. And we are smashing our way back. And I think this is the boss level because it just started with this thing. But this is actually quite useless, I think, because we are just hammering the hell out of the things. Yeah, there we go. We have just carved our way straight through. And once again, upgrading everything automatically is the way to go. And I think we're about to beat our boss. And we're done. Haha, victory. Right click and upgrade to button to toggle auto upgrade. Yeah, we're already doing that. The order in which you enable auto upgrades determines their priority. So my priority is probably horribly wrong, but we are still doing fine. We can boost our base defense range as well, where it will intercept some of the shots from some of the enemies and help us stay alive a little bit longer. We haven't unlocked anything else yet. Are we still doing the right kinds of enemies? They are pentagons. We are squares. Squares beat the pentagons. And we, I think, have just utterly dominated this. He does have 2 enemy bases, while we still only have 1. Yeah, we've got this thing. And we can right-click these for some upgrades. We finally built one of those, but I don't know. What is the range? Yeah, there's the zone size. The zone size is tiny, and we've got a long way to go to upgrade it. But it's fine. We're upgrading everything else, and we're doing just fine. And I mean, look at us. We're on his side of the map. We're playing in his turf, and we are smashing him, and we're bigger than him. And I think we're just shooting faster than him, and he's got kind of a little sort of defensive line over there. Even units, our max unit count is 8 units. So yeah, if you mouse over it, you can see all the stats. These upgrades are slowly cruising. Yeah, it took me a while to figure out what was going on here. The sort of tutorial didn't help very much. I had to sit and puzzle and go, what on earth is happening? how is all this working? And I struggled. I struggled greatly. Okay, we are hitting this layer here where we are being beaten back. But it's okay, we're still cruising. Not very well, but... he's upgraded something. Oh, are we going to lose here? No, we've hit the point in which we are able to hit a bit harder, and we've got our own defenses building up in the background there. This is tougher than the boss level. It's a pity we can't actually attack the enemy buildings. If we could sort of shut down the enemy. But you know what, I think this is fine, because if they push through to the point where they're getting close to us, not only do we have our buff zone here, which is going to help take them down, but we also have, we step into the range of our base's defenses here, who will then help sort of thin out the enemy shots and help us survive just a little bit longer so we can thin them out. And we are slowly winning, I think. Oh, I don't know, maybe not. But in the meanwhile, you can hear that cha-ching, cha-ching of us upgrading various different things. So we are sort of clawing our way back. And that's what I like about this game, is that if you can reach that equilibrium state, if you can survive at that point for long enough, then you will slowly fight your way back, because you are just, while holding the line, as it were, you are upgrading slowly. See, now we've expanded that thing, and it is now helping us out. Look how effectively we are pushing backwards against the shots that they fire. And I mean, it's not doing much. In the moment we're out of the range, we're going to be in trouble. But it is helping us build up our own little army of enough that we are now the dominating force on the battlefield. It's fascinating. It's like an implementation of interesting, like, combat mathematics. You know, here are the number of units, and this is how having a lot of units does advantages. And here we are beating up on his base, and we're just going to win just because he pushed us back enough, and we upgraded our base defenses enough to give our team an edge. Alright, so now we have nothing to upgrade yet. But he is producing squares and octagons, and squares are the big ones. So to beat squares, we need to be building triangles. Now his octagons will have pentagons will have an advantage over our triangles. But that doesn't really matter, because our triangles are very, very big, so they will still have combat effectiveness. And we can always switch to squares if that becomes a problem. But his squares are the big ones, that's why I think we need to make these. But we haven't unlocked our multiple... It didn't matter, we just smashed our way through. It was actually a bit of a pointless level. See, now we need to upgrade to the point where we can actually build... what have we got here? Octagons and squares. The triangles are still doing fine. I mean, they're not winning as much as we would like, but they are still producing big enough and fast enough. We don't need to switch to anything else. Just killing his squares, who are roughly the same size. Yeah, his octagons are slightly tougher, so we should lean on that side, but I think he produces more squares. Only 4 octagons versus 8 squares. And we're surviving. We've got the line there. We can upgrade to the point that we don't need to do anything else. Yeah, just leave it to auto upgrade. Oh, there we go. Now we've built another one of those. That's interesting. Let's just tell it to upgrade those as and when it can. Maybe they'll overlap and do amazing things. I'm a little sad that we haven't... yeah, we haven't been told to build a another unit base yet, because that gives us a little bit more to have to manage, because we need to switch the unit types at the beginning of each level. But we have 2 buff centers instead. That's fine. I'm going to turn off the upgrades there. We don't need more buff zones. We need more unit building things. Well, we won anyway. That's fine. And I'm actually going to stop talking about the game there. I think I've shown more than enough gameplay. Hopefully I've made it understandable. Yeah, and that's the game. That is, what do we call it? Escalation. I mean, it's absolutely fantastic. Let's talk a little bit about the critiques. So if you're just here for the gameplay, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and/or subscribe, as I always say. And thank you, and we will see you in the next video, I'm hoping. But if you're going to stay for the critique, good. What we're going to talk about is, firstly, the UI. I pressed escape because you can see that the menus are also escape, which means you come out of full screen here on itch.io. That doesn't matter too much. It's a bit of a pain. Come on. It's not letting me press escape to bring up the menu. That's not good. Well, we can click on the menu. In fact, we can max screen for this. Again, it says resume for escape. I don't know why the escape's not working now. I'm pretty sure it did before, so it must be something weird on my side. But we have absolutely excellent quality of life controls here. We've got graphics controls. We've got the music controls that I like to see. Spitting out music, game sounds, UI sounds. We can turn on the tutorial skipping, and that really is my first real critique for the UI levels, that the tutorial sucked. I did not like this tutorial at all. I didn't find it particularly useful. I don't know what was going on. It's taken me a while to interpret. This is the money, and there's different kinds of money and I still don't know whether that comes from the number of units that we have or anything like that. And this is how the upgrades worked, and this is how the upgrade costs worked. There was a lot of things that I didn't know that I had to figure out. And as a gamer, I think any of you who are regular gamers will probably figure that out just fine. That's not who I think the tutorials are important for, especially in itch.io, especially for browser games. This is a browser game, obviously. I mean, it's not just a browser game. I think there's a downloadable version, but we can get to this game on the browser, and there's going to be people who aren't regular gamers who come to these games and might see a gamer playing it, like at work or something like that, at lunch break, and go, oh, what's that? I want to try that. And they get given a link and they try it. And if they have a good tutorial, it takes them into the game and gives them a good experience, especially in the beginning minutes of the game. And that's how those first few minutes of a game are the most influential minutes in a game. You really need to make those first few minutes good, and that will set the player's perspective on the rest of your game. It is very difficult for a game to recover from a boring or bad first few minutes and still convince the players that this game is good, and to play it passionately and to tell other people about it. Yes, it can happen. It can be done. It is difficult. It drastically increases the difficulty. But if you have a very good first couple of minutes in a game, that then puts the player in a very positive mind, and the rest of your game can be quite bad, and it's very difficult for the players to then go, this is a bad game, and not tell people about it, because they remember those first few minutes. That is the initial impact. That's the bit that sticks in the memory. That's the bit that decides how the player sees the game. So make those first few minutes of your game good, and a really good way to do that is a really, really good tutorial. Make it interesting, make it funny, make it effective, make it exciting, give it a twist in the end, something along those lines. If you can do that, then your game has a leapfrog ahead of other games in terms of how players will like it, how players will feel about it. So that's my recommendation, is give this game a good tutorial. It needs it. It's complex. It needs you to take players by the hand, don't make it for gamers. Don't make a tutorial that assumes that people already know a lot about playing games. Make a tutorial for idiots. Make it easy to skip it. Add a start menu that this game didn't have a start menu, it just takes you into the game. But add a start menu that goes, that play the game or play the tutorial first. Make it that the first button, play tutorial, and have the tutorial teach the player how to play the game as if they're idiots that don't know how to do anything on their computer. Honestly, make it idiot-proof, because not idiots will get through it very, very quickly, and idiots will appreciate it. Not really idiots, just people who haven't had experiences like gamers have had. Um, yeah, and that's why I say that's why I always on about tutorials, because they are very, very important, because they are part of what makes those first couple of minutes of gameplay good for the player, effective, helpful, giving them good solid footing for the rest of the game. And yeah, so honestly, focus on that. Game sounds are fine. A little bit like 8-bit-esque, not necessarily 8-bit, but along those lines. They could be a bit chunkier, a bit bassier, but I mean, that really wouldn't match the graphics terribly well. I don't know, so maybe not. I would experiment with the sounds a little bit more to try and get some more depth into them. But as they are, they're fine. Music is top notch. I love this music. I think it's fantastic. I really hope it doesn't give me trouble with YouTube. But either way, I don't care. I think this music was fantastic. The art, I like this minimalist style. I know a lot of people might be put off by it, just having these shapes and things like that. It's more like you're watching a strategy control screen rather than an actual battle, and I like that. I think that is effective what it is. I didn't have an issue with it. I thought I might. As soon as I got into the game, as soon as I understood what was going on in the game, again, don't forget the tutorial, I really liked the screen. It was very easy to understand very quickly. It's busy, but I can still interpret it. The strong colors are fantastic. I absolutely love this. It's very reminiscent of the kind of control screens people see in those I forget the designations of them, but those Hawkeye, Eye in the Sky airplanes. They see views sort of like this of the battlefields, but they can drill in a bit more and see more details and things like that, depending on what sensory resources they have in the battlefield. But this is something sort of like their basic view, and I like it. I mean, it goes all the way back to the 80s, movies like war games. Things like that had views like this, so it's nostalgic but also modern and very cool. I love it. So yeah, I like I said, I didn't like it at first, but when I understood what was going on, when I'm comfortable with the rest of the game, then I liked it, and that's another reason why it is important to have a good tutorial teach the players how to play. Gameplay is fantastic. I do feel like sometimes it's almost too easy. I don't know if at later chapters it's suddenly going to get too hard. But here I'm like fumbling around and not really knowing what I'm doing strategy-wise. And meanwhile, I'm already winning the game. And I like that, because it's the way I like games, the way as long as I've managed it a bit, the game then wins by itself. But I also don't like it because I don't feel like I contributed very much. I don't know how to fix that. Maybe a little bit of balancing with difficulty and progression and things like that, but that makes it harder for people who aren't quite at the right level of progression. So yeah, I wouldn't fiddle with it too much, but I'm just sort of saying keep an eye on that, keep an eye on your game balance, because it might be too easy here and too hard later, and you want to make it a bit easier later and a bit harder here, or something like that. I don't know, maybe that needs to be experimented with, it needs to be examined. But nitpicking aside, I found this absolutely fantastic. I liked it a lot. And then the immersion. Okay, there isn't really much immersion here. I would love more lore about who I am, who I'm fighting. Let's escape out and have a look. Nah, it's just strategy game. You are fighting. You are soldiers. There is no lore here, and I get that it has isolated us about from the actual gameplay a bit, with the way it has isolated us from being able to see any of the units or anything like that. But I don't know. It would be nice if there was a bit more lore about who we are, why we have this base, who we're fighting, who are these armies, things like that. Give us a good reason to be behind the flag, and don't make it a real world reason. Don't say we're fighting China or something like that. Nobody wants that, and it dates your game, and it makes a lot of people uncomfortable playing the game. But say we're fending off aliens who are attacking us, and you're a final desperate selection for commander of Earth's forces, and Earth is nearly destroyed, and now you're fighting back. With some resources, you're joining in other commanders from other locations, and you're fighting the great battle. Something along those lines. I don't know. Do some writing. Don't make it too real world, but make people feel, yes, rah, go blue team. We're gonna beat the red team. We're heroes. yeah, that is my recommendation. They get people into the game, get them engaging with the game by giving them a flag that they empathize with. Um, yeah, and that's it. That is all the critique from me. That is all the gameplay from me. That is everything I'm showing. The link will be in the description. Please come and play this game because it is a really good game. It is a lot of fun. I enjoyed it greatly. I'm very, very happy to have seen this game, and I would very much love to see you guys playing it, and I'd love to see this game go even further and expand even more. I suppose that's my general critique. Is I want to see more of it. I want to see more units. I want to see more, like, the third party influences come in, have us fight two forces at once who are also fighting each other, have sort of disaster events that come in and mess us around while we're in the middle of a battle and we have to scrabble our way back from them. I don't know, something along those lines, just something interesting to give it a bit more variance than just watching your units move from left to right and hopefully beat all the enemy units up or get beaten up or things like that. I mean, I think it's fantastic as it is. Just to take it to the next level, I think you could throw in some more curveballs. And I haven't played that far into it. Maybe all that kind of stuff is there. And if it is, apologies. And I'm very excited about that. I'm going to play more of the game as I go forward. But at this point, yeah, I think that's kind of what it's missing. Have more stuff in there. Have a green team that comes in from the side. But yeah, thank you for making the game, and thank you to everybody else for watching this video. And I hope to see you in the next video. So that's all from me. Goodbye.